sorry I'm late. I've just been running around like crazy. Today's actually the first day of my holiday, so I'm wearing my holiday outfit. A little bit bleary-eyed after yesterday, but thank you to everybody who watched us throughout the day and also bought the signature collection. And guess what I've got for you? I'm going to do a giveaway straight after this. You can see I'm out of breath. Just been running around like a crazy person. But that's good actually, because that means my hip's working. So even today, after a really busy day yesterday, my hip's still working, so I'm really happy. And I got a letter from my consultant this morning. It was such a nice surprise. Carl popped it in my handbag, and I was just quickly reading it just before I came running in because I saw the word hospital and thought, what's happened? And he wrote on it, I've just come off the phone talking to a delightful lady. And I thought, oh, that is so nice. So he did a telephone consultation with me because, of course, you can't get in there. And it was really weird because he was asking questions like, so when you sit down and you have your bottom to the back of the chair, I'm thinking, what's he going to ask me? He's saying, what does it feel like when you lift your right leg, when you lift your left leg? How far can you lift that off the seat? He was asking me all these different questions, what it felt like when my feet were flat on the floor, when I walk and things like that. So obviously he was doing a very in-depth meeting and consultation, and I'm thinking, and I went home and I said to Carl, how come he's asking so many questions? You know, he doesn't do that when I'm there. And Carl said to him, well, that's obviously because he couldn't, check you out. And he said, he actually said to me, well, because I can't do this with you on the couch. Well, let me tell you, he's actually quite dishy. So probably, maybe even about the same age as me. But yeah, I'm like thinking, on the couch, you don't say that in front of my husband. I'm quite embarrassed. Anyway, let's talk about this. So what I've got here is I've got a kit of signature collection to give away. So that's one giveaway. And I got 6. I'm going to give somebody one of my packs of cardstock. So it means I've only got 5, which I'll be really, really disappointed about. But you are worth it. So somebody's going to get one of these amazing packs. And one of the first things I did when I came off the show and it had all gone was on the phone to Diane saying, please, 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 will you ring that nice man and see if he can do any more packs for us? And she's like, he hasn't got any. I was like, well, tell him we'll have different colours. We don't mind. Just get me the same deal, because it was so amazing. Right, so I've got my crafty stuff all round. I've even still got some of the stuff that I made yesterday. And in my bag, I've got a little guillotine, just my little trimmer. And I've also got a little mini scoreboard. So I'm going to do some card shapes for you because I think that was one of the things that everybody requested. And also got asked about different shapes of easel cards. So now I'm a bit naughty because sometimes I get my card names mixed up. And I think it's just because my head's going so fast that my mouth doesn't keep up with my head. Look, I'm really sorry if you've just tuned in for the crafting and I'm gossiping, but I have to tell you this. I told Carl this morning, I have never laughed so much as I did in the week. And, I told you on TV yesterday that I borrowed the gems out of Dawn's stash. I didn't know she was in the studio and she saw me, but this is really bad. Well, she told me that she gave, it's going to make me cry laughing. I've got to say sorry, I'm probably going to get mascara everywhere. She told me that she showed her Facebook followers when she was doing a Facebook Live around my stuff in the dressing room. So like all my just stuff. So all my makeup, my clothes. I shouldn't show everybody the labels because you'll see the size. And I was like, oh, right, I'm going to get you back. But I didn't need to because she did it herself. So I'm sitting in the green room and there's me here. Hells is over there because they've moved all the chairs around, so we're a long way apart. Hells and Nancy. and she's walking and she's got this bag and she's going, it's got legs, it's got legs. But the best bit was, she'd made herself this bowl of yogurt. You're going to think I'm really mean for laughing at this. She made herself a bowl of yogurt. She put all this fruit in, so she was being really, really healthy. And then she'd gone into the dressing room, and amongst all her stuff, there's a box of cereals. And she'd had it sat on the floor. I mean, what a daft place to put it. And she said, I only wanted to have a healthy, crunchy topping on my yogurt. And she tipped some of the cereal on the top of the yogurt, and it got bugs in it. And she's going, it's got legs, it's got legs, it's got eyes. I was absolutely laughing my head off. And then Helen Sheridan said, Dawn, she said, Dawn, that's going to bug you all day. So all day, everybody's been making jokes about bugs. And then she doesn't know I'm going to tell you that, but she ate bugs, and they were live and they were crawling. So we're saying that she's been on Crafters, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. So anyway, right, let's do this card for you. So if you're making a stepper card, first of all, stepper cards are, let me think about this. Right, this is my first challenge. The card stock that I've got is not quite, the guillotine I've got is not quite wide enough, so I'm going to make this right. So I know roughly how much I need. I'll give you some measurements as well, everybody. So let me just take this through because I've got a double layer there. Right, so I've got an A4 piece of card, and I've cut this, I meant to cut it to 5. It's 5 1/4 inches, but I'm not going to worry about it. I cut yours to 5. Right, and then we need some steppers. We need some steps to it. Now, it depends on what you want to put on the front of it and how much support it's got, because the heavier the front of the card, the more you actually need to be able to support the back of it. Sorry, I keep thinking about Dawn and her bugs. So on this one, I've got it 5 1/4 that way, and this first fold here is going to be about 4 1/2 inches, which it is absolutely 4 1/2. And I'm just going to put a score line at the bottom of this here, and this is the quickest and easiest way for us to do a stepper card, and that leaves me exactly 2 1/2 inches. Do you work in centimetres or inches? I'm still, do you know, I'm really bad. I'm still an inch girl. So I'm scoring again at 1 1/4. And then I'm just gonna fold that up and fold this back down. So in the simplest format, that's our first stepper. Okay, now as a formula, the easiest way for you to do it is to actually have whatever you need here as a step. Take that first measurement. So let's say it's 1 inch, double it, so you need 2 inches, and then whatever is left in that piece, whatever's left on your length of card, you need to halve that number. So 1 inch, 1 inch, and then 50% of whatever's left is your next score line. Let's say that's 3 inches, so let's do an example. So I've got a piece of card that's 12 inches long. I'm going to score at 1 1/2. I'd score again at 3, and then that leaves me with 9 inches left, so I'm going to score at 4 1/2. So that's your formula. If you need to do more steps, so again, so let's say I want to do a double one. I want to have them so that they're steps. So I'm going to do the first score line at 1 inch, the second one at 1 inch, and I'll do this one for you. Just because my scoreboard's not quite the width of an A4, I'm just going to take off. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm just going to take off. It literally is about 1 inch. I've just taken off here. That's not perfectly straight, but I'll straighten it up when. Oh, now I only see now, because I haven't got a straight line, I've got to do this and do. So I've got a thing about straight lines, everybody. I bet you have as well, haven't you? Let's see how straight that is. It's not perfect, but it's quite, that's not bad, you know. I'm feeling like a bit of a show off here. It's not bad, but I'm out by that much doing that by eye. That's quite good, isn't it? Right, so first step, 1 inch. Second step, 1 inch. Then let's go to 1.5, and then we go again, another. So 1.5, half, another 1.5. And then the amount that's left, which is 6.5, I need that at 3.25. So let's just get a line there so I can see it and score it. There, right. So watch this. So that's my first one. And you all know that that's a mountain fold. The next one is a valley fold. So a mountain, valley. Right, so now we've got concertina stepper, so it's going up in steps. And then the piece that was left, remember that last piece, folded it in half. So there's my concertina stepper. So you're actually building up your steps as you go, so that you're building up. And if you wanted the piece at the top bigger, you decide what size that is. So let's say I wanted it to end up a 6-inch square. So I'm just going to put a line there. So I've now, from this side here to here is 6 inches. So I'm just going to cut that piece off. Well, got two choices. I could cut that off, or let me do this. Score it here. There. And then I literally cut myself a 6-inch square. I fold that back and I stick the other square on the back, so it becomes like that. So the 6 inches is from here to here. You've got to email me and tell me if you'd rather I talk in centimetres. I'll start doing centimetres for everybody. It's just the way I do things. I feel like mascara's is a bit, but don't worry about that. So that would be our 6 inch. So always start with your steps first. It's so much easier to do that. Also, I want to show you how to cut an aperture in a piece of card as well. So let me start and do that as well. So I'm just going to fold this piece of card. When I'm folding card, this is something else I do. You know when you cut an onion and you use your knuckles and to actually put the knife against? Do you ever do cutting? This is what you do. You hold it. Pretend this is an onion. You hold it like this and you go like that. Okay? Good demonstration, that one, and probably could go on TikTok with that. Don't even know what TikTok is, but I heard that that's where you put little videos and top tips and stuff. Right, so what I do is here, I use my nails to push and butt up the cardstock, but you can also do it on a scoreboard. So you put the base to the butt line and then push the second one up, and that gives you that crease so that you know that when you're scoring it, you've got exactly half. So, and if you haven't got a score tool, back of your scissors, I'm sure you all already do this. And that then gives us our perfect score. So, cutting an aperture. Right, I'm actually going to use this little point here, the arrow blade, and I'm going to cut an aperture in this card. Now, first of all, where the actual piece comes across here, the little holder, that's where the blade, if I lift it up, the blade, point of the blade actually sits in the middle of that little crease. So wherever I push that down is going to actually make that first hole. So I just want to think about what I'm doing. So the first thing that I do is I look at where my card is. Now, you've got a measure on these little tools. You've got a measure. I hope we're going to get these back in stock soon because they're brilliant little guillotines. You pull the arm out and you've got a measurement here. So for me to be able to measure the distance that I've got nothing to measure against, so it's quite hard. So you use the distance from here to here. So if I want, so I know that this piece of card that I've got here is, let me have a go, it's 6 inches wide across the front of it. So that's half my A4. So it's not quite, I'm rounding numbers up just to make it a little bit easier for us. So from there to there is 6 inches. So if I want my cut line to be with an inch border all the way around, I need to move that line there from 6 to 5. So I've got it at 5. Now I don't even then have to think about what is happening here. I just need to know that I've got 5. I've got an inch ruler on here, so I can go an inch in. So let me just move that up a tiny bit. There we go, there's my inch. There, press, and I stop an inch short there. So can you see here, I'm an inch from the top, an inch from that edge, and I'm an inch from the top there. But I've measured from this side, not this side. So really, really clever little tip for you, because it does make a big difference. Because when you're working, especially with something like this, you haven't got the measurement on this side. The other thing that I'll do is, if I'm doing a lot of them, I put I decide where I want my my trimmer to be, and I put myself some tape on my glass mat, and this is the guide for where I'm going to turn my cardstock to. So this is the other way that I work. So I'm turn it to this side so that you can see. So I'm keeping my trimmer lined up here. I'm moving my cardstock and I'm lining it up with the edge of the tape. So I'm using that as a guide. So they're just 2 little ways of you being able to do extra measuring and making sure it's accurate. So sometimes on TV, when we look like we're just going swip, 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 we've actually mentally checking those numbers or the positioning so that we know where we are with it, and that makes it so much easier for us to work with. I'm just going to trim off this piece of cardstock so I can show you something else. So I need 2 pieces of card for it. So I'm just going to take that piece off there. Okay, so I'm just going to go back into here, and I'll stick to doing the rules. That's just there, and if I've done it right, that corner will pop out, and look how perfect it is. Oh, I'm being a little smarty pants, aren't I? It always backfires when you do that, you know, by the way. If you try and be smart, something happens and you end up not quite as clever. Right, so let's just checking those numbers. It's about the only time I'm quiet, when I'm checking my measurements. And then, and you can feel it when it gets to the cut. So there, I've got a tiny bit I haven't cut there. I'm actually going to take my scissors into it. I'm going to take them in from behind and just do that little tiny snip. Right, so I've got a perfect frame there. Now, I want to do another one that sits inside this. So this is how I do it. Put my 2 frames together, 2 pieces of card, they're identical. Need my pokey tool, and I'm going to mark how far in I want to come. So there, 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 and there. So I've done those 4 little marks. Now I'm just going to make the little dots a tiny bit bigger so I can see them. So, and of course you could have measured the first square, but I just find it easier to do it on my guillotine when I'm working. So I've got 4 little dots now. So now I'm going to go back under here. I get quite excited when I'm crafting because it's such good fun, but also being able to do things and know that what you're doing is going to work makes such a difference. Now I should feel that dot, oops, a little bit too far. Where are you, dot? There you go. Do you talk to yourself when you're crafting? I know loads of people that do. Where are you? There. Felt the dot. I'm going to go back up and do come down this time. And a massive thank you to everybody for getting up and coming in, seeing me. Just need to check where my dot is. Yep, you're there. Feel my dot. Yep. Last one. And let's feel the dot. You are there. And the dot. Right. Now check this out. I'm going to line them up perfectly. Oh, I know how you can do it. I knew there was a reason I did this double-sided card. Oh. Something's gone wrong then. It's covering that. Okay, right. Trying to think what else I should show you. I hope if you haven't got time to stay for all the time that we're here, don't worry about it. I'll see you next time. Let me show you. Think about what we'll do. Is I'm going to do a stepper card, but I'm going to do it slightly differently. Think about this. Right, I'm going to go 6 inches in. No, we're not. We'll do 4. I'll go 4 in. There. So your 4. This hammered card, which is really pretty. This is often out of a Kanban kit, which was really lovely. Right, so 4 inches in. So that means that I've got 3 1/2 left. Can you hear my brain ticking? Right, I'm going to score. I will 1, 2. I've got 2 inches there. So I'm going to score there. I haven't actually decided what I'm doing, just so you know. This one doesn't go along. I'm going to do a double stepper there and a single stepper there. So I'm going to work out the best way of doing it. I'm going to go into my cutter and lift this up, and I'm going to score. This is how also one of the other ways of creating different card shapes. So I'm cutting, I've cut myself a a cut line there. You can see that. And now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold that down to half. And I'm going to fold that back to half. So the back of my card is still going to be level there. And then, this is going to work perfectly. And then I'm going to fold this piece. I need to store it. Right, so I've got what have I got? 3 1/4 inches. So that's 1 3/4, which is about there. Just needed it right for exactly where it was. So, right, so they should all meet at the bottom because this is actually the back of the card. Meet like that. I'm going to fold that forward. And I've got my staggered stepper. Do you know what? Next time, can you tell me what else you'd like me to show you? And I can keep coming up with different things. Today, I know everybody said they wanted different shaped cards, so I have literally just been, well, I guess the technical term's winging it. But I think I really want these craft sessions to be more about just you seeing about how I craft, and then you guys can send me pictures of stuff that you do. So it's more about us sharing, us feeling like we're actually in a class together and actually crafting with our friends. And that's because that's what I feel like you all are. So I just want to, one other thing I wanted to share with you was this little flower that I did yesterday. I want to just show you again how to make that flower, and because this is actually, it's a really nice little flower to do. Oh, and that was another thing. When you open this up, this actual card doesn't stand up. So one of the things that afterwards I thought about I could have done, I could have cut a piece of card that was the same size as this, and instead of me putting, I think I might get this off because I remember thinking it as I did it. Yeah, I did. I didn't stick it down. I didn't stick this down really hard because as I was working, I was thinking, oh, I should have shown everybody how to do this. So I'm just going to show you this now. Right. So I need that measurement there. So let me just get that measurement. Oh, I'll use my scoreboard for it. So I've got, it's 4 1/2 inches. So I need a piece of card. Oh, it's not going to work because it's the wrong colour. Oh, I'm getting picky now about my colours. I'll do it with this pretty one. No, I won't. I'll do it with this one. Yeah, perfect. Right, so I need to score at 4 1/2, which is there. So score there, trim off, I need the width as well. So I'm going to make it slightly smaller, so I've got a little border. So we'll just mark that. Do you use your poker tools like I'm using mine, so I can just see where I'm going with it, and then I'm going to trim there. So I've just made myself that little card, and the reason that I wanted to do that was because when I open it, so that's it closed, my little pocket, and then stick this in because it'll look. You'll see it exactly then. When I was doing this, I was thinking, oh, that'd be really good to do that. I wish I'd shown everybody, because I opened it and I was disappointed that it didn't stay open. You know, it wouldn't stand up properly. So just put that liner tape on. So this goes, it must go right up to the score line, otherwise it isn't going to work. And then I'm going to take my I could have used that green actually, it would have gone with the green, but never mind, I'll use this. Put a bit of tape across. Oak foam will make it stand up. So there. So this will be where we put our little message. I'm going to put you in there. So now, there's it closed up. Then you open up the front and you pull out the stand. So that actually now stands up, but it's back to this little rose. So in here, I've got a load already cut. So it works best with double-sided paper or card. So not something that is coloured on one side and plain on the other. Ink the other side if you're going to use a plain one. So I need a couple of the big petals, and then I need 3 of a 2 petal. So I just need to go through this little stash and find some. There's 2, and if you can't find any, trim them. Get yourself some, and you can make them. So you can literally cut one off like that, make a few. So I've got 3 of those, a couple of those. Actually, let's treat myself. I'll have 3 of those as well. So I've got 2 lots of 3. So I'm going to take my tool. I'm just going to shape round the petal a little bit. So I'm just going almost random. I'm not thinking about which direction am I going in. I'm just making sure I go in lots of different directions. So, and it's my pokey tool that's doing it. So it's got like sort of like little curls all the way round. Then I'm going to go again, this one. And it's more about, you know, it's trying to be quite natural. And I spent, you know, I think you guys know I'm spending quite a lot of time in the garden, and I'm starting to really study plants, and I'm starting to draw them, take them to pieces and draw the petals, because I want to really understand them. I want to be able to design better. I want to be able to share that with you. And I don't think I'll ever be very good at the names of them, because that means learning how to pronounce hard words, but like poppy and rose. Joking. But I do know that I'm going to get better at designing, because the more you watch the way the leaves move and the way that they turn, the more natural it is. And also you get to learn where the light and dark is as well. So while I've got that done, I'm just going to, drat, I'm going to find some glue. So let's see what I can find. Oh, it's here. Right. If I only ever want, this is another little tip for you, if you only ever want a little bit of glue, and it's a new pot, so that's a new pot, and I'm only going to get a little bit. So I've taken the lid off. I'm not going to cut the nozzle at this point. I'm just going to take a little bit from inside. So I'm going to put a little bit on there, a little bit on there, and I'm going to put a little bit on there. But I'm now going to put, whoops, I'm going to put you on there and press it down, and you on there and press you down. Now you can see immediately, look, because I've shaped all those petals, that's only, there are 3 petals on each flower or each layer, and I've only, all I've done is just shape them, and it just looks so much fuller and more interesting. So I'm really happy with that. Right, I'm going to leave that for a second and now do these 3 pieces. So these you do differently. So I'm going to, on one side of it, I'm going to really roll it, and I'm rolling it so into like a cone, okay? So like that. So I've rolled it all the way around. So that side's tucked under, that side's tucked over. this one, all I'm going to do is shape it again. So I'm going to do what I did with those other petals. I'm not trying to make it, I want it to look like that, okay? So the next one, you roll the cone, and again, roll it right round. I think we should have some music next time. I think I should get a cup of tea. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? So I've rolled it. Then, hey, have you got your pyjamas on? I can't tell, can I? I wonder who has got, you remember those like cuddly pyjamas that you used to get that were like a sleeping bag? Did you ever have one of those? I used to have one as a kid, I loved it. Right, what you're going to do is you're going to put this one, so the two cones are going to get glued together, and then the third cone is going to be glued, whoops, in the gap. So two together like that, and then the third one's going to go under there. So you can see them, look. And I don't know if you can see them, I'm guessing, I'm hoping the camera's still in the right place, but who knows. Bit, you know, bit technology going on here. So, me and technology, not good. Anyway, right, I've got that one. So, I've got 3 of those. So now, I'm going to glue that one. And it's easier if you glue, you can hold them like this. So, glue those 2. Bit of glue in there. Glue that one. So, I've got 3 of them glued together. And then, blob of glue in the middle. Needs quite a decent sized blob actually. A technical term for large bit. And then these 3 are just holding together. You pull that up. So that becomes one little flower, and then this one goes in the middle there, and you just have to hold it for a few seconds. And look at that. It's great, isn't it? It looks really full, and it's hardly taken any petals at all. I get really excited about things like this because I just think that looks so lovely, and it just holds its shape, and it looks really natural as well. So we've made some little stepper cards, we've made a pretty little flower. I hope you've had a great time. Sorry about the sniffles, late night, I'm absolutely healthy, and the holiday clothes, but I've had a fabulous time and I just love your company, so thank you so much. Don't forget about the giveaway, pop your name below. We'll do, I'll get Sarah to help me pull somebody off, and we'll send it out to you soon. So take care, stay safe everybody, and it's been a real pleasure having your company. Oh, and don't eat bugs, that's for Dawn to do.